Now let's
All right.
skedaddle on over to week 2. We've got Grant Delpit once again. This guy's going to be on here constantly. He really cares about his drip. This week, he pulled up in some orange and white foamposite cleats. This is him celebrating an interception, so he also balled out in them. And then I just said it, but he also wore the Mambacitas again as well. Who we got next? Oh, we got Quan Alexander. So last year he was with the Jets, had some incredible cleat heat all season long. Now he's here with the Steelers, and he wore these customs right here. So these customs are based off of the Nike Nocta 6 or Nocta 8. So that's basically like Drake's line of shoes, I guess. I don't really know too much about them, so I was really kind of like, what are these? But they look sick. The colors, the details, they just looked really good. And they went perfectly with the Steelers uniforms on Monday Night Football.
Looking at these, this silhouette looks really clean. I feel like I'm looking at him on his feet, and they look like big and bulky. I'm kind of like,
yeah, I totally agree. Drake
saying?
Nocta shoes historically are kind of like a bulkier looking like dad shoe
Yeah.
kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But anytime you get with these recreations on top of other cleats, you're going to get kind of a bulky look.
Yeah, I get it.
So next up, we've got Deebo Samuel, Jordan Athlete. I can't tell if these are PEs or customs. I mean, looking at them now, they definitely look like PEs because, I mean, they're just too clean. All the cuts, all the leather, it just looks too clean. So Jordan 11s, these are kind of like a reverse cherry. So everybody kind of knows the cherry Jordan 11s. You got the red on the bottom, white on the top. These are kind of a reverse version of that. Really like these a lot. Super clean. What else? Oh, this one, you guys love this one in the comments, dude. These are really cool. So this is Quincy Williams, linebacker for the Jets. Or these cleats right here. So these are a LeBron 2, and they're inspired by the St. Vincent St. Mary's, which was LeBron James's high school, or St. Mary's St. Vincent's, one of the two. But the colors are perfect for the Jets: green, gold, white, and these things. I mean, you don't see a lot of LeBron 2s really anywhere, and when these basketball silhouettes kind of transfer their way to the gridiron, it looks so cool. I'm such a huge fan of these. And this is another pair by Coda Customs. He killed these, dude. These are incredible. Next up, we've got a guy who's going to be on this list probably every week as long as he stays healthy, and that's going to be OBJ. OBJ paid more homage to Randy Moss. We just talked about the Super Freaks he wore last week, and then this week he pulled up in some Jordan 11 Randy Moss PEs, basically. So these were actually customized by the Surgeon, who has done a lot of OBJ's cleats recently. And these are really sweet. You get the little moss details, you get the purple, the white, the yellow, the 84, the moss on the tongue. These are really cool.
And so this is a Nike Alpha X-frame traction plate, right?
Yeah, so the base of this cleat is still still OBJ's like Nike Vapor PE cleat that he does all the chrome heart stuff on. Basically, OBJ was the first one to get the Alpha plate before it was known as the Alpha plate, that with the X frame going through the bottom. So it's kind of like a big skill plate that OBJ and Nike kind of put on his skill cleats before they turned into a big skill plate. But that's the base, is that OBJ PE. Next up, we got another guy who's on this list constantly, CJ Gardner-Johnson. So he wore this pair of cleats right here, blue, black, silver. These are inspired by the LeBron 20, which it's crazy that LeBron has 20 signature shoes to begin with. We just talked about LeBron 2s, now we're talking about 20s. But these are really clean. You've kind of got the double swoosh on the outside. You got the black, you got the silver, and then just the blue top of the cleat looks really clean. And then, I mean, CJ Gardner-Johnson finished the rest of it. A lot of good drip there. What's up?
What's the suck is he might be out for the year.
I did see that it was a pectoral injury, right?
Yeah, so he tore his pec on Sunday, and I was listening to Pat McAfee today, and they're basically talking about it depends on the kind of tear. If it's one, they basically said like if it's a pectoral tear, that there's one where you can play through if it's not bad enough, where they can brace it. And do you remember when Baker Mayfield had that brace that kind of just went on his shoulder?
Yeah, I remember that.
I gotta learn how to stuff. But yeah, so it's like the brace that basically limits your range of motion.
Mm-hmm.
So he might be able to get away potentially with that. At this point, I don't think there's a verdict. But if it's when you have to have surgery, then your year's over.
Yeah.
So at this moment, they came out saying it was a pec tear today, and so there's no verdict on it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would suck, especially a guy like that. Like, imagine how many cleats he probably already had lined up for the year. which obviously he's
No,
thinking about a lot bigger things right now than like, oh no, my cleats aren't going to get used. Like,
it's true.
but
You'd be
yeah,
surprised, man. These
I guess,
guys love that stuff.
yeah, yeah, true. All right,
He had
what's
some
up
crazy
next?
stuff with the Eagles last year too. But yeah, so he's
Yeah,
probably got a lot lined up for the Lions. New color scheme, new stuff you can do. What else we got? Oh, next up we got a Giant. Very excited to add one of my New York Giants to the list. This is Isaiah Simmons, who we just traded for, and he pulled up in this really cool pair. So these are based off of the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Phantom. So it's basically an all black Jordan 1 with a reverse Travis Scott swoosh. And he paired these up with some black accessories. You got the black gloves, you got the black kind of like turtleneck gator design, and then the black undershirt. I thought it was really cool. These are customs by Sean again. So he makes some really good stuff, man. You're going to see him a lot throughout the season. But I really like these. I always say you can't really go wrong with all black accessories, and that remains true.
mm-hmm.
Next up, we got Juju Smith-Schuster. So these are really cool cleats. I couldn't get a good photo, but Charlie the Kirihara, the guy who created them, did post a really good reel kind of going through his process. We can check that out really quick.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are super sick. So they're his at a zero PKs, and then Charlie took a bunch of playing cards, took all the
Yep.
laces off, ripped up the cards, and then he stuck the cards on with some kind of double-sided tape. And I'm not sure if the paint he has any epoxy or anything in it to hold it together, or if it's straight up just paint. And then yeah, he basically did that, put the little decals and stuff back on, relaced them up with some black and red laces, and sent them out the door.
Yeah, these are really cool. First of all, it's really cool that he kind of used the number 7, which is obviously Juju's new number in New England, and then just kind of seeing the creative process of a cleat artist. Seeing kind of the steps they go through is always really cool, and how much time and effort really goes into these cleats that these guys are going to wear for just a couple hours.
Yeah.
And I really like these cleats. They're very cool.
Is that it? Or no, I clicked. That's my
Yeah,
bad.
we've got a couple more in there. Yeah.
Get back.
Oh,
Well, you are here.
there we go. So next up, we've got Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley wore this pair of they're like teal with like the outline of the bone on the side of the cleat. I thought these were really cool. Halloween's right around the corner. It felt like these were pretty sick. These are customs by Arts Undefined. He makes some really good simple stuff. A lot of color swaps. A lot of cool little intricate details like these. I know they're not the flashiest on this list, but I just really like them, especially for Calvin Ridley. It just felt like a good fit. And yeah, I'm a big fan of these. Not too much else to say about them.
Cool. I haven't even looked at these yet. These are actually really cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, because
just
you get the whole like bone structure right there on the side. It's a cool idea. And then lastly, we've got George Odom, which is a name I was not previously familiar with, but he pulled up some really cool cleats. These are the Nike Air Flight Zoom. These are also they're known as the gloves. So these are a shoe. I think they were Gary Payton's signature shoe. I could be wrong on that. But this is kind of the Miami Heat colorway that Gary Payton wore with the Heat, of course. Really cool, classic shoe. I mean, we've seen some guys wear these on the football field in the past, and it's just a really clean look. It's such a clean silhouette. You've got the zipper kind of closing them up, and just like an outer sock layer around the whole cleat. Just really cool. I like these.
The same ones that Leonard Fournette wore last year.
Yes. Playoff Lenny did have those. Yep.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so these are also by Coda Customs. So he's done, I guess, a couple of these glove pairs over the last couple of years. But that is
I want to carry moving forward, but it'll be a little obviously quicker when we're doing 1 week instead of 2.
Yeah.
Let's go. Super cool. It's the amount of stuff that's going to come out this year from these guys is like unbelievable.
Yeah, you don't really realize how much effort and time these guys put in the off season, like getting their gear right, getting their cleats ready, talking to the artists, saying, "Hey, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want it all ready to go for September." So, and now they get to show it every week, so that's really exciting.